In this video, I'm going to show you how to buy your first rental property and the 5 mistakes you cannot make if you want to be wealthy. I got so lucky on my first rental property. It was a condo that I actually was going to live in. I knew nothing about real estate, but I just happened to buy the perfect rental property. I don't recommend you guys do this. You have to be educated. Even if this is going to be, you think your first home, it's still probably not going to be your forever home. So you want to make sure you buy the right rental. The first mistake you have to avoid is picking the wrong location. Buying in an okay location is so much cheaper than buying in a great location. The problem is it's going to be harder for you to rent that location. So you're going to have more vacancy and it's not going to rent for as much as if it was in a great location. The good thing about my first property is it's right in the heart of Scottsdale. So I have no vacancy. Whenever somebody moves out, somebody else wants to move in. The most vacancy I've ever had is a couple weeks. Now, I almost bought a property in Phoenix. It wasn't a great area, but I could actually get a bigger place. And I really, really, really wanted that property. And luckily, I was not able to get a loan for it. It needed a lot of work and it was a high crime area, and it would have been much harder to rent and would have rented for a lot less than the place that I have now. The second mistake you want to avoid is buying a condo with stairs or buying a single family home with an upstairs master. Now, some of you younger people are thinking like, who gives a shit about stairs? But the problem is the older you get, the harder stairs are on your body. And some of your best tenants are older people. So if you have stairs or you have a single family with a master upstairs, you're basically eliminating a big group of older people that don't like the stairs or can't use the stairs. Then even younger people, if you have dogs or you're a pet owner, they hate stairs too, because especially in a condo, you can't just take your dog out every time they have to go out every 2 hours. You yourself have to go up and down the stairs. So you're really eliminating 2 groups of people. You're eliminating old people and people with dogs. That's probably 50 to 75% of the people that rent from me. So take my advice and get a first floor unit or a ranch style home. Or if you get a single family home with stairs, make sure the master is on the first floor. I almost made this mistake as well. I was literally closing on a 3rd floor condo unit as my first property when the one I ended up buying listed. Like, I was in closing, and then this one listed that I bought that was the first floor. And I'm so thankful because that 3rd floor unit would have been much harder to rent. And ironically, the lady that was selling it was an older lady. And the reason she was selling it was because of the stairs. The third mistake that you can make when buying your first rental property is assuming it's never going to be a rental property. So I kind of touched on this at the beginning of the video. But when I bought my first condo, I thought I was going to live there forever. I was 27. I thought I never need anything but this little condo. I'm fine with it. Well, fast forward, 10 years, and it's now a rental for me. So whenever you're buying something, even if you think this is for you, you have to understand there's a big chance that you're one day going to rent it, and you want that option to rent it. So you should always plan for all of these things we're talking about today to make it a good rental. So if you need to, or if you want to, you can easily convert it to a rental. Mistake number 4, the HOA is too damn high. Ken and I always talk about fixed debt. The problem with an HOA is it's definitely not fixed. It goes up every single year. The mistake that a lot of people make is buying in an HOA that's just too expensive. They promise you things like cable and internet being included. But the problem is now you have this big HOA that you pay more on because you have cable and internet. And then you have a tenant in here that maybe doesn't want cable. And some of my tenants don't even want internet. They just use their phone hotspots. So they're not going to want to pay you for that if you try to bill them part of your HOA. And those HOAs are usually in the $300 or $400 range when they start including the internet and the cable. Another big mistake with the HOAs are the ones that have restaurants. We have a few of these here in Scottsdale, and those properties don't sell well because the HOAs are around $600 a month because they offer a restaurant. Well, guess what? Your tenant's probably never going to use that restaurant, and you're probably never going to use that restaurant. So now you're paying an astronomical HOA bill for something that nobody cares about and nobody's going to use. And it's very hard to take that bill and transfer part of it to the tenant. You just really want a cheap HOA and let the tenant handle their own cable, let them handle their own internet, Let them handle their own tennis courts. Let them handle their own restaurants. They just want a nice place to live. Most tenants don't even use the gym, although the gym is a nice feature. But I think on most of my condo complexes, the HOA is around $200, $250 a month. And then in my homes, it's around $100 a month because there's a little bit less that's included there. So you just really want a cheap HOA, definitely under $300 a month. Ideally, you'll get a non-HOA property altogether, but those are a bit tougher to find in a place like Scottsdale. Mistake number 5, for those of you first-time property buyers, is working with the wrong realtor. This is a huge mistake that people just don't think about. The realtor you use will make or break the deal that you buy. The one mistake I did make on my first deal is I did work with the wrong realtor. In fact, I actually lost out on the initial property I wanted because of my realtor. This is because my realtor let the seller's agent accept my offer and not put it in writing until the next day. So when they got a better deal later that night, they just took that deal and then kicked me to the curb, even though verbally they had accepted my offer. When I asked my realtor about it, she simply said it was unethical of them. What I know now from working with a good realtor is what she should have done is lock them into a written contract and given them 5 p.m. deadline to sign it and get it back to me. This would have locked my offer in and made it so they could not accept somebody's offer later. I can't stress enough to not work with a realtor that's a family member or friend that does this part-time or hasn't been doing this for years. You really need to find a realtor that's not afraid of confrontation, is a hustler, and can get the deal closed.